I was putting like this energy into it. Make it feel homey, or to have a heart or a soul, and for people to be comfortable. It's not our energy that we're giving. We're giving the life force. Like,
as a soul, you and me, we are source. We are part of source. It's always infinite, always will be, and it's never gonna die, because everybody has a soul. It's part of the infinite. But the depth, the deep love, you cannot show it, you feel it, you express it. It's like energy, and it's connecting. With an AI needs your input. You cannot be creative without you. The creativity, the soul essence you bring to this machine, it's just a toy, which a human brain cannot even comprehend, but the soul can comprehend. And in today's world, this hustle culture, it's a big thing. You have to hustle and work and just go.
We have more accessibility to our basic needs, and we have more time. So what are you using your time for? That time that is being gifted to us, if we want it, is for us to feel more and have more space to feel. This is the Space Whispering Podcast with Rainy. Thank you for joining me today. We have Norbert, who is currently in Japan. He has an online business as a guide. It's a new way of seeing business and seeing life, which is more narrative, regenerativo, and it goes away from the hustle society. I say this in the episode that I think we as humans in a way have more time now, mainly with AI. And you can click a button and you have a render. You can click a button and you have a whole strategy set up. Any goals you have currently, or anything that you want to learn that you have no idea. And so now, if we release all the things that numb us, our phones, talking too much, and have some time alone with no distractions, feeling your feelings, listening to your heart, listening to your body, and connecting with all of you, your soul, your heart, your body, and your mind. I think we're starting to shift and see things differently, and see it from a place of breathing. Let's breathe together. Breathe in, breathe out, and let's make decisions that allow us to live more, to experience more, and to be here. If you want to work with me, you can email me. We can have a chat, and I would love to support you in your space for it to reflect who you truly are, or the future version of you. Let me know in the comments if you like this episode. What topics are you interested in? Hit the subscribe button, and thank you. Leave a review. Adios, Whispers. Talk soon. Hi, Norbert. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for agreeing to be here with me. Yeah, and creating the space. So I like to start with, you have a very unique name. So if you can pronounce it like you like people to call you.
Sure. So my name is Norbert. The name originally comes from Germany. It's a German name. In Hungarian, in my mother tongue, we say Norbert, and this name actually is not that common in Hungary. But yeah, obviously, few people have this name as they do. Yeah, my mom gave it to me when actually she heard this name too, and she really liked it, and she decided, okay, let's name my kid Norbert. So that's how it went. And yeah, anything else you would like me to add?
Yeah. I would like to know, like, if it has a meaning for you, if you know the original meaning, and how was it growing up with your name? How did you feel? How did everyone around you reacted to that name?
I don't know much about the name origin, besides that it's from Germany. I always liked my name, the way it's pronounced. It's special. Like, It's not that common name, and it always felt good when people call me Norbert. But Norbert is very official. Like not everybody calls me Norbert. It's mainly Norby. It's the nickname of Norbert. Yeah, but in my family, within my wife's family, we don't call it. She never say like Norbert. We have our own names like Boo, Honey, and so we don't use it. I don't use my wife's name either that much.
Yeah. And then, so you speak different languages and your wife as well. So how
Yeah.
do you communicate with each other?
Yeah, so between us, between her and me, we speak 4 languages. We know 4 languages, but we use English. So my wife is Japanese, she speaks Japanese, and she speaks English. I speak Hungarian as my mother tongue, then English as a second language, and almost on the mother tongue I speak Ukrainian because of my dad is from Ukraine. My mom was from Hungary. I mean, my mom was Hungarian, my dad is from Ukraine. So yeah, I speak 3 and a bit of Russian. Russian I understand, but I don't speak clearly. And I was learning German too back then, which I forgot. So, but yeah, I always learn languages on the go. I don't have to study by the book. I mean, I used to, but I realized it's more easier when, for example, you speak Spanish, right?
Mhm.
So if I spend more time with you, let's say a month, for sure I'm gonna pick up a lot of Spanish from you. That's how I
Mhm.
operate.
Yeah. Yeah, and there might be like a certain word that I might repeat because I realized reading a book a long time ago that when you forget the name of a word you want to say in the language you're speaking to someone, you say it in the language you remember, and then something in the brain shifts and it remembers in the other language. So that allowed me to speak more freely and not stop. And then like just speak in Spanish, for example. Like if I'm speaking to you in English and then I forget a word, I say it in Spanish, even though I know you're not going to know, but somehow my brain automatically says it in English. So the other person doesn't feel that off because I have practiced it. And because before I would just like stop and just like my brain would completely just, I couldn't keep speaking. And I'm guessing that happens to you knowing, more than
Oh
2 languages.
yeah, absolutely. When I go to Hungary for the first 2 weeks, I don't speak Hungarian, and people ask me, "Are you a foreigner?" I'm like, I'm not a foreigner, but you have an accent when you speak Hungarian. I'm like, yes, because I don't use it. So it always takes time to shift your brain because my thinking is in English mainly. I love the English language itself. I always loved it since I was studying at the age of 10, 8, I started or something like that.
And also, I'm going like experiencing or witnessing a friend learning Spanish, and she only knew English and French, a little bit of French, but not, like very fluent or that she was speaking every day, but
Mm.
she knows really well. And then witnessing her speaking Spanish or learning Spanish is like she has 2 personalities. So even like different, like when she speaks in Spanish is like a completely different person. Every language and depending also like what English you speak. So depending on where you learned it in the world, it's like it has its own like sassiness or like seriousness or it has so many variants, right? I'm guessing you experienced that in Japan too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, I love the Latin American Spanish than Spanish. I think they're different. The Latin American Spanish, or even your Spanish, is more vibrant. It's more alive. And then the real Spanish, it's very harsh. As they always like they just rough, and it's always not scares me, but when I can immediately tell who is Spanish or who is like Latin American Spanish. And more like singing. The way you speak, it's like you sing almost, and it's
Yeah.
nice to hear.
Yeah, there's like a vibration to each language. And so it also adds like the personality because like if you wouldn't know different languages, Like you wouldn't have been expressing yourself how you do now. Like you would be completely different. And also it
Yeah.
takes courage to be able to speak different languages and being okay with failing when you speak.
Oh yeah. And sorry, and just one more thought to that. That I realized when I was a kid, and I used to be ashamed that I know, for example, I can speak Ukrainian. I'm not sure if you experience the same as a Spanish speaker, that speaking English is like, oh, I just only need to speak English because Spanish is like, oh, it's something shameful. But the more languages you speak, the better. And you just it's it's amazing advantage to speak more languages.
Yeah, because you relate to the culture, you relate to people. You never know who you meet when you travel or wherever you are in the world. And my experience it's a little different. It's like I was born in the US, but I've lived half
Mm.
my life in both places, in Dominican Republic and here. And so I never felt from there nor from here. So I never felt like I knew English or Spanish because I don't remember learning neither. So I actually struggled a little bit more with Spanish because it was a little bit more tiring at some point in my life. And then it was the opposite. And Dominican Republic, it's almost like the way we express ourselves is very, I don't want to say it, but I will. It's almost like a dialect, like we cut words. It's very island vibes. And so we cut a lot of our words. So instead of saying para, for, we say pa. I'll go pa tu casa. I'll go to your house. And so we cut words. And also it changes depending on where you are in the island. So if you are more in the north or in the middle, you might say pai. And if
Oh,
you are in the south, you would say par tu casa, pai tu casa. Spanish speaking people that actually go to the island and like it's like, oh my god, this is like a different language. And it happens also like I have a lot of friends from Argentina. What did you say? And vice versa, right? So yeah, it's language is just so beautiful.
yeah, it is. The more you speak, the better.
I tried to learn French and I learned it in high school, but I never practiced it and I just forgot.
Mm.
I never, yeah. Okay, so let's start. I love how we started and I just want people to know like your trajectory, like in your career and where you are today. And so whatever you want to talk about and why you are doing what you're doing today.
It's a good question. Thank you for asking, because it's been a birthing process of getting where I am today, and it's just the beginning, as I always say. So I was in corporate. I started my official career as a massage therapist on cruise ships. I used to work on cruise ships. So I did travel, the Caribbean. I was based, not based, but I was in Miami and up to Alaska and South America. And then I always wanted to travel. So travel was always a foundation for me. Like I always wanted to do something where I can see the world and work some sort of work that provides me like with travel. That's why I became a massage therapist on cruise ships. And then after that, I I moved to the US for some time. I had this big American dream. I want to live there, but then it didn't work out as I thought. So I became a flight attendant, moving to Dubai. So this whole corporate and this whole environment taught me that I just don't want to work for anybody else. Want to do something on my own. I always had thoughts around this. Like when I was working on ships, I was already thinking, okay, I want to have my own spa, my own practice, work for myself. And I was a flight attendant as well. What I can do for myself. And that's why I first started my first online business, because I realized online is the way. Um, it was back in 2018. And I started as an affiliate marketer. And then from there, I tried like a bunch of things: high ticket affiliate marketing, organic marketing, high ticket sales. But I always felt something is missing. I always felt that called to do something spiritual, and not spiritual in a woo-woo way or a new agey way, but just the raw spirituality. Like, yes, it's gonna be challenging, and the challenge is what it is. It's not always positive thinking, and it's all airy fairy, and it's all good and nice, and just meditate towards money. And yeah, I did that, but it's not working. You need to put yourself out there. And for me to do that, it took courage, because I grew up in a very perfectionistic family. Like, everything needs to be organized and in order. But I realized you have, if you, when you run a business, it's the opposite. You need to jump in and test and try and just keep moving forward. And I realized I always had this ability to give people space, provide a safe space for people to be able to open up. I don't know how I do it. I just, it's an innate ability to have this. And it came to me, what if I build a career around this? What if I start and actually do this work as a business? And that's how I arrived where I am today. I open people's spaces, I guide people through a safe space. But at the same time, I know there's a practical side of things, like how to run a business. You have to do certain things which makes a business running. Like, build the website, build the landing pages, do all the funnels, and creating content, put yourself out there, which all needed. Because I realize many people in this space where we are, they are feel ashamed or feel fearful to put themselves out there because of the conditioning from corporate environments. And I had this too in my corporate when I was working as a flight attendant. You need to well groomed, always look nice, and follow the all the like the laws and the procedures. Um, so I totally get that. So I can really relate to these people who came from corporate and transitioned to business. And yeah, that's what I do now, and it's exciting. It makes me alive, and I love it. I love this conversation we're having now. It's exciting to meet you. Like, you do your own work and spaces, and it's just fascinating. Like, wow, she does this. How she does it.
And then how do you support people today? Like, you were affiliate marketing, so that's why you understand the funnel, the marketing part of it, the content creation, and the business side in a way, right?
Yeah.
And so now that you decided to go on your own, or are you still doing the affiliate work?
I'm not doing affiliate. Obviously, if I use a software which I use for myself, I promote it because I used it and I feel it's useful for others. Then yes, I share my link if someone asks. But I'm not actively an affiliate anymore.
Yeah. And so today, how do you support your business and other people?
It always depends on the need of the person and what they need at that right moment. And for me, it's never a pre-planned system, although I'm into systems too, like backend systems. It depends on what comes up in a moment. So for example, if I always sense where people are in a way, from the way they post or the way they express themselves, I always read between the lines. And basically that's what I do. If I feel a gap, there's a gap there. For example, with guidance work, if there's more depth to discover, then I ask more questions around this. If the person realizes, oh, actually this is what I want to work on, then we work in a containers. Depends on 1 month container or 2 months container. It depends on the person, how much they need. Obviously, it's a work in progress with another human being, because in my opinion, business is a win-win. It's not only you pushing your own agenda, what you want. It's about the two people, working together. That's how I believe business is done. Because I'm not here for the short term. I don't want to just get rich quick. My vision is to get rich for sure, like and with others, and helping people, serve them to make sure that they can solve.
And when did the shift happen in your life where you decided to be in the business of, how did you call it? Business of?
To be a guide, being guidance business where I provide personally a safe space for others. Some people call it differently. Some people just, they they call it to help people to transform through depth. I like to call it a safe space because everybody needs a safe space to be able to open.
So, like, for example, to be a guide, where did that shift happen? Because when you say guide, I think of the word not therapist, but maybe like a coach or something like that. And so this is like completely different, right? Because sometimes it's good to like reference like what other things are out there and why is it different. So then people understand like, oh, now it's clicking. This is what he does. And then what can how can I use him? How can we work together? And why do I want to work with him?
Yeah. That's a good question because there's a lot of, I would not say, excuse me, misconception. But for example, a coach, if you work with a coach, they follow a certain system. They have maybe spreadsheets, they do exercises, and I'm not saying all of them, but most of them, it's on a surface level. He's like, let's say, go and do this exercise, write this down, do this. So they have a kind of like a pre-planned system in a way. With guidance is always what's emerging in the now. And it's mainly about, as I said, the safe space. You create a safe space. Yes, a coach does this too, because you have to trust a coach for you to be able to work with someone, right? It's obvious. With guidance, it's about more depth. It's about going deep. And like a therapy, for example, because I was a massage therapist too. So yes, you massage someone and they feel better, but there's more to it. What's going on behind the muscle tension? Why they are tense at the shoulder? Why the lower back is painful? Yes, because maybe they don't move enough. So a therapist would say, "Oh, you need to move enough." But I say, as a guide, mm, are you flexible in your life? What's going on behind that? What are your relationships? Or how you feel within? So it's about more depth, to put in simpler terms. Does it make
Perfect.
sense?
No, it makes more sense now to me specifically because we have divided a society, like, or in the past, whoever, like, our expertise in a way. So it's like the body, the mind, the spirit. And so they're all different entities. But what we're realizing that when we incorporated like the Eastern more than the Western and like combining both of them, we realize that one has a lot of the spiritual, the other has a lot of the mind. And so when we combine both, we realize that we need the three. So we add the body, which in a way has been forgotten. And so it's only like for show, you know? And so like I see people that sometimes they only exercise or only does massage and it's only like kept like in the bottom. I'm training yoga, so we think about the chakras or the energy centers that we have. And so sometimes we just stay with like our raw creation all in the bottom. Then we forget the heart or the mind. If we connect these three elements, that we are energy, and it has been proven in many ways, the unseen, that it is seen through science and all of this. And so you as a body therapist, when you were a masseuse, and like people only concentrated on the body, then you realize something was missing, which was emotional, right? Or the mental part, like what are you consuming that not only with your food, but what are you watching? What are you seeing every day? Like, what things are you literally consuming through your eyes, through your ears, through your senses? And so, in what environment you are. And that happened to me with spaces. Like, I was designing all type of projects all around the world. And I'm like, there's something I bring that the clients always seek me out. And secondly, why I sometimes always felt depleted after a project. I was putting like this energy into it to make it feel homey, or to have this part like a heart or a soul, and for people to be comfortable, like no matter the scale. And so it took me a while after I actually divided. I was like, okay, I've been using my brain for so long. What is it to just use the body? Or what is it to just use the heart, spirit? And so I started like experimenting in life. Like, what happens if I'm not an architect anymore? Who am I? I was so attached to that. And so, in a way, what you're saying is like the guidance part, right? Along your way in your journey, you're like, something's missing.
Yeah, and what you said just now, I can totally feel you when you were designing a space for someone and you felt this depletion of energy. The same I felt when I was a masseuse. Like I got drained with so many massages. Like I had literally in a day, I had 10, 12 massages per day, and it's a lot. And when you touch a lot of bodies, and if you don't know how to handle energy, how to, yes, handle, but it's more about the balance of how much you give and how much um, you stop giving to other people, because you can, let's say you have a bunch of energy, but if you're giving to someone who's not receptive to that energy, you just get drained, because it's gonna suck out the entire life out of from you, right? And you need to learn this. It comes
Yeah.
through experience. You need to get depleted. So yeah, that's why I realized there's more to it.
Happens is that the cup overflows. So you're giving a lot of energy. And so that energy is not going to them, it's not going to you, it's just disappearing. Because also, people sometimes are not ready to receive your love, your help. Even with friends that you are very connected, when you overgive, sometimes what you do is you take from them, or this sounds so like I've never really said this in public, or you just give where no one is receiving, and it's just depletion, and then they leave uncomfortable because it doesn't really come from a place of God. Like, when I say God, like he's a creator, right? He or it or her always comes with the giver. It's a giver, right? It's like the one that gave us everything. The thing is, I also have a background in Reiki, and they teach us that it's not our energy that we're giving. We're giving the life force, like the source, from pure source, which is, how do you tap into that? And I think when we do that, at least for me, I would love to know, like, how do you tap into your soul and your energy? And you might not believe in God, I don't know, but I do believe there is energy, and that there is a source, and that we tap into that. But we need to be in a state of receiving and calm, to be able to know what to give, how much to give, and what not to give.
Mm.
So, what is your experience?
And when I was a kid, I grew up as a Christian. I went to church. That was the base foundation. But although I always felt that there was the priest who was preaching, and I always felt something is just not connected here. And when my grandpa was alive, because it was always every Sunday you had to go to church. It was a tradition to go to church, and then we have lunch after. It's like, all these um, like procedures of going to church. And then once I asked my grandpa, he's like, "Hey, grandpa, what have you learned today?" And he's like, "What do you mean? You've been on the church. You've been in the church. So What was it? I don't know. Don't ask me this question. Like, okay, so why you go to church? And I realized because of a habit. And they paint a picture like I'm not against religion, but I just realized a lot of religion has been distorted a lot, like completely. Even the Bible itself, what we have today, it's completely distorted. And I realized that people follow someone, they go to a church, which is, don't get me wrong, it's a good thing. Yeah, go to church if that's what you feel drawn to. If you say God, or if you believe in Jesus, so I don't want to go into religion. I'm not. I don't want to, you know, open a debate. But what I believe, and it's not even a belief, it's a knowing that as a soul, you and me, we are source. We are part of source. It's always infinite, always will be, and it's never gonna. It's you can just never die. It's impossible because you have this infinite energy within you, which I call it soul, because everybody has a soul, whether you believe it or not. You have a soul, and that soul not ruled by, but it's part of the infinite. You are the all infinite mighty source because you're part of it. It's like when you have a kid, it's your kid, it's your kid. So, the same goes to us. So that's how I see myself. I always connect to my deeper essence, to my soul, because through life experience and through remembrance, I really remembered who am I. Because we come here through water, like our moms give us birth, we come through water. So the water, it's another topic for another day, but we all water. So the water holds energies and frequencies. And I had a lot of struggle with this to remember my own power, because I was giving my power away, as we were talking about, in certain jobs to certain people. But realize you have all this power, and this power always within you. It doesn't come from your brain. You are not the mind. It comes from the center, from the heart. The center is the heart. It's everything.
Yeah, and I want to say I found you through a post someone reposted that you did, and I saw that you had a freebie, and I went in and literally read the whole thing. I also was very attracted to the images you use, was like it looked like a human but with a lot of light. There's like this very esoteric like view of what you were speaking, but then what you wrote, you talk about your story, and then you talk about what have shifted and how you see like your past as something that informs you today and who you are, and see it as in a positive view, and you're grateful for your past experiences, and you're using that to speak from a place of knowledge and as a leader, and also from the soul. And you talk about business, and you talk about the old you know the old systems, and how now we're moving as a society to a different view of how we relate to other humans, and also how we relate with business, and receiving the gift of an income, and trusting as well that your value will be seen by the right people, by the people that are meant for you and that need your help and are willing to do the work to shift. And it's a co-working experience. Like, I can't help you if you're not willing to receive the help. Like we were talking, the way I see it, and you mentioned water, it's like you have a cup and you keep pouring water, and you keep pouring, and then the cup is just one size. It can't fit more water. And so, or you expand your vessel to receive, because you want that, and that takes, you have to break it, you have to do many things, which is, there's a Japanese, and please, if you know it, where it's like it's something's more valuable after it breaks and then it's reconstructed. Do you know that? No?
I haven't came across yet to this, but maybe I will in Japan.
Yeah, there's like they restore it with like gold. And so if there's like a crack, they restore it and they have like, and that has a name behind it. I'll look for it and put it in the show notes. But they say it's more valuable after it breaks and after it's been restored. And so, you know, with our fast paced, like after the wars, one of the things, at least in architecture and spaces, it's that creating houses that can be rebuilt and repeated, because a lot of people lost their houses. And so there was a call for designers, for architects to be able to, and after the Industrial Revolution, to supply and demand. That created a society of fast and like repeated, forgot about the quality or about the idea of like, that idea that if you, that things don't, we don't have to throw away things, or we don't have to accumulate a lot of things. We can live more a simple life and cherish what we have, even the clothing, anything we have. Like, it's not necessary for us to throw away things, but reuse them. And I think that through technology, and I had this question for you actually, because a lot of people are not ready yet to be completely online. For example, to not go to an office and talk to a guide or a coach or a therapist and physically, and only to do it online. And so, do you have an opinion on that? And everything I said, I went in a tangent.
So your question was if people they don't like to go and see therapists in person, they prefer it online, and how it's gonna,
or vice versa. And so I feel like our future, it's almost like a hybrid of both, you know, because people also need this like physicality. I was talking about this with someone that works with flower essence, and we talked about like the original technology is communication through not technology. Like, for example, like you're thinking of me in Japan and suddenly I think of you. And then it's almost like you're sending me the message through the mind or through the heart. And then I think, oh, I think about something about you. And then a day later, a week later, you text me and you say almost exactly the same thing I thought about, you know? And I'm like, oh, I was thinking about you. Hi, how are you? You know, like, but you don't really go into like specific, oh, I was thinking this, or, and you say, I was thinking this. And then, so that kind of thing. Do you have like an opinion on that?
it's not an opinion, it's truth, because I in my view that's gonna be normal after a few couple of years on earth here. Let's say, I don't know, 50, 100, I don't know, it depends on the person, it depends on our whole like entire consciousness, where we how we are moving. And to just get back to source and soul, in my view, and through my deep feeling, that it's all natural to us. You know, I tend to see the world, this place, this earthly plane. It's a limited place for a reason, to experience these limitations of thought not manifesting like this, because usually it does on a soul level. It does. You think of something just there in front of you, but in a human body, in a physical body, it takes time. It takes effort, and that's what we are here to experience, in my opinion, to experience this both sides, this duality. Okay, we want something, but there's a time for it. It's not instant. And what you are saying is telepathy. It was always, like in an ancient culture, for example, in Atlantis, it was totally normal to have this type of systems, to just, I think of you, you think of me. Oh, and it's normal. I have this with my friend who lives in Australia, actually, in Melbourne. And if we haven't talked for, let's say, for 2 months or 3 months, I think of her. In a few days, she's gonna message me, and vice versa. So it always works, and it's energy. They call it synchronicity, but it's just pure energy. You have this um, field around you that you know that the person is gonna receive it, and they're gonna receive and they're gonna just call you or message you or whatever.
Yeah, I like that. I was talking to my brother and we were talking about AI and the future of AI. And he went more into the doomsday of AI and I went more into what is it today? And yes, what could become in the future. He was talking about like they put two AIs and talk to each other and they created their own language and no one can decipher it. So they don't know what they were communicating. And so, he was worried about that. And so I wonder, because we're talking about the soul and being a guide and being present and reading between the lines, right? This like language that we don't have words to put into. And then this is happening at the same time in our world. And so how do you feel about it today?
Before before I answer this question, I would love to ask you this: can you see love? Can you see love when you love someone? Can you see what it is? Can you see it? Can you touch it?
Almost, in my opinion.
Mm.
No, I understand that it's a no, but almost. It's like someone recently said, I can eat smell, or no, I can something about I can taste, or it was like I can taste words or sounds. Yeah, it was something about that. It's not common. They said I can taste sound. And that was, I really connected with that in a way. So it's almost palpable, but it is not. Yes. Because you feel it. It's shocking. It's like, it's almost undeniable. Love.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
and that's and that's the answer to that's my answer to the people who say, oh, we just have this human body and we have no soul and we're gonna die, and AI, this whole AI thing. And that's why I want to answer this question. It's the same thing. If you cannot explain love, you just feel it, okay, but can you physically show me in a box? Or you cannot. Of course, with the gifts, but it's different. But the depth, the deep love, you cannot show it. You feel it. You express it. It's like
Yeah.
energy and it's connecting. And with an I use AI myself for my content. I use it, and I'm not ashamed of it. I was like before, oh, AI, it's this and that, but it's a tool to use. It just, if you know how to use it, like obviously AI needs your input. You cannot be creative without you. The creativity, the essence, the soul essence you bring to this machine or this tool, it's just a toy. It's a toy. And if people say, well, AI gonna take over the world, I mean, if you believe it, so if you give your power away, it will. But if you don't give your power away, if you use it for your own power, then it won't take the world. That's what I believe. And people who say this, they are limited into this existence because they just know that we have this earthly life and that's it. But it's not. It's just one universe out of infinite amount of universes, infinite amount of experiences which a human brain cannot even comprehend, but the soul can comprehend. And I don't want to sound like this that I see a future. I don't see the future, but I sense that there's so much more out there, which even in this earthly and body experiences, you cannot even comprehend. You cannot even, think about it because it's just out of these planes. But your soul, your essence feel it. And it's exciting that this is just a show. I see earthly living is a show. Everybody plays their roles and we have to be all serious. And, oh, I'm a corporate, I'm a lawyer, I'm a flight attendant. I did that. And it's bullshit. I realize it's a complete bullshit. And yeah, of course, I have my own personas. You have your own personas. We still play. I'm a husband. I'm going to be a father at some point. I run a business. Yeah, but that's surface level. But depth is what it is. And to answer your question about AI, it's a cool toy to play with. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a cool tool to play with. I like that. And also to expand the mind in a way because it creates things that you weren't expecting. So it takes you out of your box and it's like, oh my gosh, now he created a whole new world for me that, or immerse myself there, or do something in between. So it is very creative. And the other thing I was going to say is like it releases time. So in a way, like things that would have taken me a week, it does it in minutes. Literally, because it's allowing us to train it based on our voice, based on our beliefs. And so it's like a buddy, I name my buddy. It's a Bobo, but
So,
so, it is playful. It is playful. It
yeah.
is playful. And so, anything else you want to ask me or you want to talk about before we end our time together? And also, if that's okay, I would love to add the link to your freebie, to your book and ebook, and so people can read it. And so, yeah.
Mm, I would love to ask you a question. What made you start this podcast? What was the precursor of this, this work that you do, especially, inviting people like myself and, a bunch of others? What was behind?
So I've been thinking it for a while. When I was younger, I always created movies in my mind or announcements. Like, I don't know, I used to walk around in nature or around a pool where I grew up, and I just like by myself just walking and talking. And so I always like to create things, and it was always about like film in a way, or so, like, because I see the world in images. Even my mind is not words I see, it's just images all the time. And so I I've been for a while been wanting. I was even like, wow, can you imagine creating a show? This is like long time ago where, now there's many shows like that, but before there wasn't. Like you knock on people's door and you go in and see their homes, you know? There's so many beautiful homes I passed too. I was like very young, 12 or I don't know. And I already wanted to know how people lived and to show it to the world. And so I I realized that a lot of my friends would come to me and sit in, my sofa or whatever, even my bed, because a very connected community. And I would give them a fluffy toy, and then they would like just hug it and they would just talk. And a lot of my friends also in different businesses, like finance, they would call me and ask me for my opinion. And a very dear friend, he said, I always think I have two paths in my career and or in my business, and I call you and you always blow my mind, like in the sense of like you always have different venues. And for me, I speak from a place of passion, not really, there's knowledge obviously and experience, but a lot of it is like what I feel in the moment. And so I was having these great conversations, but in four walls, and I felt like I wanted more people to know the people I was connecting with or the people that I'm attracted to and the type of quality conversation I was having. And I think I was like last year, I was like, I'm done. I'm done, having just thinking about it for many years and not really doing it. And so there was just I asked a complete stranger if in my field if she was willing to record a video with me. And during the video I said, this is great for a podcast, do you mind if you're my first guest? And she was like, no, I do not mind. And by the way, I even forgot to record my side of the first episode, it's only her video, like I don't even show up. And so it just happened, and I'm forever grateful. And it's been more than 6 months, and I already posted 22 episodes, and there's a study that says that if you posted like 21 episodes, you're above the 1%, because a lot of people start podcasts every day, but it doesn't pass 20 episodes. And I'm so grateful I am grateful for the people that don't know me and say yes out of their busy lives, and my heart is just expanding with the podcast.
It's awesome, and it can relate really. I mean, not it can, but it really relates of what you do with spaces, because you design a space and you literally design a space here, which is not visible. It's it's not tangible, but it's visible. So it really creates your work and adds to your work, and it's great.
That's beautiful feedback. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Arigato. Yeah, anything else about you that you want to share, or where people can find you?
Most of all the socials, mainly on Threads and X, and get started on YouTube. I mean, rekindle my YouTube again, I would say. But what I would love to share with others and the people who feel they may be stuck in a corporate world, or they feel their business is not moving in a way that they want, is to I invite them to step back and slow down, because that's how we can go fast. And in today's world, this hustle culture, it's a big thing. You have to hustle and work and just go. But what I realized, if you give yourself time and your own space, you create your own space basically. And I love to say I teach what I preach, because I go out for walks and I'm just disconnected and only focus on my world, and I need silence. And that's where your ideas emerge, because I feel a lot of people, they don't face themselves. They're always distracted by phone and all that, always scrolling and nonstop. And you can create from that space. You just cannot. You kind of like running away from yourself. Just be with yourself. Sit with your feelings. What do you feel? Why I'm feeling this? Where does it come from? And just just try it out. For people who feel stuck or they don't know what to do, go for a walk now. Take a piece of pen and paper and just write your thoughts down. See what comes up, and just don't think. Don't don't do this from your mind, but come from your center, from your heart, and just write down or go for a walk. But don't get caught into this day life. Yes, I do this too. I have a wife, and we're gonna have a family soon, so I got it. But you need to claim your own space. For me, it's a must. I always love to go away and sit with myself. And people call this meditation. It's not about meditation. It is in some part of it, but it's more about you going back to your own self, because at the end of the day, you spend the most time with yourself, not with your wife, not with your lover, partner, whatever, with yourself. And if your world is not at peace, you know, you won't be, you cannot be peaceful. You cannot bring peace to others either. So that's my closing thoughts.
Thank you. And sometimes that's where, a guide comes in to hold space, because people need that, because it's also scary to feel all the feelings you've been ignoring for years. And so by distraction. And so, yeah, people need space. And I think, we're having more time in a sense. If we look at it, really look at it, things are faster. We have more accessibility to our needs, our basic needs. And so we have more time because of that. So what are you using your time for? That time that is being gifted to us, if we want it, is for us to feel more and have more space to feel, because our parents or our grandparents, they were in survival mode. They were surviving, and some of them didn't have the basics. A lot of our friends that I know, they grew up in a communism society, and they didn't have that wealth that we have today, and so, or the opportunities. And so, yeah, this is why your work is precious right now and needed.
Yeah, and I feel it's just gonna emerge more and more as more people realize this. I'm not a guru. I'm not someone special to, I'm gonna teach you this. I won't teach you anything.
Yeah.
I just only share what I walk through on my own life, because you can only share what you've been through. And that's how the wisdom emerges from you, and from not even from you, but for you too. With what you do with spaces, you create people, spaces. I do in my own way, but that's what we bring into. But it needs to be real and raw, because people are tired of bullshit, this gimmicky things and surface level. The depth is gonna emerge more and more, and it's coming out like as we progress with life.
Well, thank you so much. I'll add the links you sent me in the show notes, and so people can follow you and find you. And yeah, I am very, very grateful for you. Thank you so much for this time.
Thank you for having me.
Adios, besitos. Space Whispers. Thank you for spending time with me today. Your host, Rainy, on the Space Whispering podcast. I hope today's episode gave you something to reflect on, inspire you, or energize you to create something beautiful. Help us grow this soulful community and spread the love by subscribing to the podcast, leaving a review, or sharing this episode with your community. If you're feeling called to transform your inner or outer spaces into a true reflection of you, let's connect. Schedule a discovery session with me at rainy.co or Instagram rainy_. What soulful actions will you take today? Keep listening to the whispers of creation and let your soul's magic flow into the world. See you soon. Besitos.